Now, this is a story about the Little Red Hen, and she was a hard worker. Oh, she didn't mind working, but now she did have some lazy friends. There was old Duck who wanted to just hang around the old muddy pond. And then there was Dog, who was always chasing his tail around this tree. And of course, there was Miss Kitty, who was real prim and proper. Now, Little Red Hen decided one day that she wanted to plant some wheat. At first, she went to Mr. Duck and she said, "Oh, Duck, will you help me plant this garden?" And old Duck said, "Now, look here, light-eyed girl. You see I'm chilling, and I ain't got no time to help with no garden." Well, she went over to Dog, and he was barking around that tree chasing his tail. And she said, "Oh, Dog, would you help me plant this garden?" Dog said, "Not me, girl. I ain't got no time. Can't you see me busy around here barking around this tree chasing?" So then she went on and she called on Miss Kitty. She said, "Miss Kitty." And Miss Kitty said, "Yes, darling." She said, "Will you help me plant my garden?" Miss Kitty said, "Oh, darling, I just had my nails done and I can't get my nails dirty." Well, Little Red Hen said, "I guess I'll just do it myself." And sure enough, she planted that garden. And she tended that garden and took good care of that garden until it was time for harvest. And again, she went to her so-called friends. At first, she went back to Mr. Duck and she said, "Oh, Duck, come on, get out of that pond and help me harvest my garden." Duck said, "Girl, I ain't got no time. I'm chilling." Then she went over to old Dog and she asked the dog, "Dog, you still running around that same old tree?" She said, "Dog, could you just help me harvest my wheat?" And Dog said, "I ain't got no time, girl. Don't you see I'm busy? I'm chasing my tail." She said, "Real busy." So then she went to Miss Kitty and she said, "Miss Kitty, how you doing today? Miss Kitty, can you please help me harvest my garden?" And Miss Kitty said, "Now, honey, you know I could, but I'm in the middle of a facial." Well, now after she got it all harvested and took it to the mill and had it ground up, because none of her friends would help her with that either, she came back and she made it into some nice, fine, light bread. Oh, yes, she did. Baked it with some cinnamon and a little honey and lots of butter. Oh, And I mean, you could smell it all over the place. Ooh, take a sniff now. Ooh, I'm telling you, old Duck smelled it down there in the old muddy pond, and all of a sudden he came squawking, waddling on to the kitchen. Then there was the Dog who was chasing his tail around the tree, and he said, "Well, what's that I'm smelling? Smell mighty fine." And he followed his nose to the kitchen. Then Miss Kitty, who was upstairs taking one of her long afternoon naps, came down and said, "It smells so delicious down here." And she also came into the kitchen. The Little Red Hen was in there busy baking her braids. And as she took it out, the aroma, ooh, it just filled the air everywhere. I mean, people could just smell it all over the place. Well, now all of her so-called friends all of a sudden wanted to help. Old Duck said, "Quack, quack, hey, Little Red. Girl, I think I got a little time now. I can help you with that bread." And then old Dog said, "Oh, Red, I'm the man for you. I can help you with that bread, girl." And Miss Kitty said, "Well, you know, Red, honey, I just won't worry about my diet today. I'll just help you with some of that bread." "I realized," Red said to them, "how thoughtless I was to bother you all when you were all so busy. I don't know what I was thinking about when I asked you to help me plant my garden, harvest the wheat, take it to the mill to grind into flour, bake it into bread. Oh, please forgive me. What kind of friend am I? I sure would like to apologize for being so thoughtless. But now since I've come to my right mind, I wouldn't dare take up your precious time with asking you to eat my bread. No, not I.